It has been a while since I've done a solo podcast episode, and I figured now was the time to do it because if you are watching on YouTube, you can see that the background has changed a little bit. And that is because we moved. I shared a little bit about this on social media, but I figured now's the time to do a solo episode before I start getting guests back on to figure out my new setup, where and how to have this all set up in the house. Right now, I'm in our upstairs family room and I'm worried about echoing. So hopefully, it's not echoing too bad. This is going to be my test run for that and also just a quick check in. I wanted to share what's been working through a seriously chaotic time in our life. And then also, um, a recipe that we've been using too along the way. So, this is the setup I'm doing currently. We don't have a I don't have a designated office studio yet. That is because, like I mentioned, we ended up deciding there's like a full story on moving, and maybe it's something that I share because I feel like it is a relatable story that is oftentimes not shared on social media. You see so much of the like, look at our big beautiful house. If you see me keep looking down, it's because I'm making sure my mic is recording, and not like I think the everyday person's living situation or these big influencer houses, which is, get your damn house, girlfriend. But it's not always that way. All that to say, we ended up, I can tell you, if you want to buy a house quickly, I have learned if you're efficient on top of it, you really could have one bought within 30 days, which is bananas. But we ended up, November hit, we're moving. December, we put an offer in on our house, and then we end up moving the first part of January. So it has obviously been nothing but chaos around here at Reckoning and at the Lone household. Beautiful, beautiful chaos. But with all that, I don't have a designated office space yet. Yet. Because the house that we purchased is the one of the things we loved about it is it has an unfinished basement. And we're currently going through and finishing the basement, and then one of the bedrooms slash areas we go through and reno is going to then be my office space. As you guys know, sometimes it's like not right off the bat. And I love that. I've been working, which I love. I'm so grateful for my job that I'm able to work literally wherever. I can work from the couch. I can work from my kitchen table. I can work from the bedroom. I've worked from the mountain. I've worked from the trailer, all the different places. But it does make it a little more difficult setting up my podcast stuff because I was literally like digging through downstairs has kind of been our dump zone for what doesn't currently have a home. And I was digging, I'm like, I had all my podcast stuff together, And God bless them, they've been so helpful, the boys. But we've been literally having to move stuff from one area, finish a room, move stuff to another area, finish a room. And what started off as like kind of an organized, chaotic mess has now just turned into even more organized chaos, but piled up. So setting things up really tested my patience, not with my kids, with myself and my equipment because it's been so long. And it's also, you get into a rhythm of where, even like in a new house, like, where do I plug in my vacuum, which is just funny shit that you don't think of. But setting up my lights and like, oh, why is there not an outlet over here when I need one here? That kind of a thing. So that is why we have a new backdrop. That is what we've been up to. Quick life update. And then obviously we hopped into the expo season. And so if you guys saw on social media, I reached out after the expo asking for your guys's input, your stories, questions, anything that you may have, because I had so much fun getting to visit with everybody that went to the hunting expo. It was just a different experience this year for me in the fact of I got to go with mountain ops, which I've always, for the most part, I think this was my fourth year with mountain ops, which is bananas. One, two, three, I don't know, three or fourth. Always loved being at the booth, did a full day, got to hang out with some of the coolest people at the booth, hung out with fellow ambassadors, Conquer 90 winners, got to help with the pack out challenge, and just the baddest group of dudes ever. Thank you guys for letting me kick it with you fellas. And then I was able to go to the All In booth. This year was a new experience for me, going and getting to help at that. And I was so excited to be able to talk about All In because, as you guys know, I love their gear and then also obviously their apparel. Like, they seriously design the best apparel and digiscoping gear. But it was really fun to get to, through these experiences, get to talk to different groups of people and get to hear their stories. At the Mountain Ops booth, obviously, I'm getting to hear a lot about like their mental and physical fitness when outdoors doing things, all the different kind of people that show up for Mountain Ops through fitness. And those stories and experiences are really cool to hear because I obviously have a set of my own, and so does Cody and even my kids. And then with hanging out at All In, I got to see so many badass pictures and videos and hear the most wild experiences that people had while hunting and just really get to connect with you guys. And then also, it was so much fun to get to connect with younger generations that are just getting started and excited about finally getting like a camo hoodie or a hat that matches dad's, or getting to tell me how easy it was to use the digiscoping system with dad, or I got to see dad or mom kill their deer because of that, which was just so cool. And then also getting to talk to one of my favorite groups of people, the old boys, getting to talk to them about how like the good old days and getting hearing the stories of the good old days, or guys that have been coming to the expo for years and years and years, and they've been hunting together for the last 50 years and all the funny stories they have with each other. And then also getting to show them something like the Nexus system and them just kind of sit back and be like, it's about damn time they did something like that. I just thought the contrast between the good old days and like it's about damn time was just such a fun experience. So this episode, I wanted to be able to share a lot of your guys' stories and kind of just go through the season of life that I've been through, because as I was at the expo chatting with everyone, and even just going through this season of life, how many times have I said that? Oh my gosh. I have been very grateful for the lessons that I've learned throughout my, what am I, 36 years of existence, especially the lessons I've learned over the last couple years and then the last 6 months, like the discipline in which I've honed in, I think made a huge impact for where we are and what we've been through. And these are questions I'm going to go through, listener questions that you guys submitted. And these are questions that kind of pertain to like this season of like our move, health and fitness, how we were able to keep that going, working on business, stuff like that, because everybody is going through some kind of major shift in life, it feels like. And if you're not, then the moment that you're in right now is preparing you for what's to come, possibly. I opened up on Instagram after the expo and asked for your guys' questions that you may have for me that you weren't able to talk to me at the expo about, or maybe something that we talked about at the expo that you wanted me to hit on again, or stories for you guys to share. I did ask, on my bad, that was my bad, for stories a little quick. So I had a few people reach out saying they wanted to submit their stories. I'm going to continue to make this a segment in Reckoning where you guys can submit your stories. So as those roll in, we'll submit some. I didn't have a ton of those coming in yet, but I know that you guys are just propping up your phones, writing, putting it all together. So then we can submit that moving forward. And then I'm going to share one of our favorite high protein 30-minute meals that we make using venison, or you could even use it with beef. So that is what's happening on this episode. Let's get into it. Where I am right now. Currently, like I said, we moved. We've been here now, what, almost 2 months, which is bananas. It was such a good move for our family. I'm so very excited. We moved to a smaller town than what we were at, and the location just couldn't be more perfect for our family. As you've seen on Instagram, I'm always sharing like a daily paddle report, which essentially is the pond behind us and what is either on the pond, paddling around the pond, hanging out at the pond, because we're just surrounded by nature. And I told Cody, I'm like, I feel like I live in a treehouse because of just the open airy space that our home provides us, and being surrounded by nature is just so cool and so perfect. And so, if anything, to tell you guys, like, there's so many times in my life that I have been like, holy shit, why? And I've continued to learn. And through this process, I think I leaned into this the hardest that I ever have. And with the understanding too, is like, there's a reasoning why. And you're going to look back and be like, all right, God knew what he was doing. And that is definitely, I think, where we're sitting now in life. And I'm very grateful for that and grateful for the lessons that taught me that, because there was a time where I would spiral completely. And I'm not saying that there's not times where I didn't allow that moment or something, but I've really been working on my nervous system and realizing that my nervous system is reacting based off of past experiences, past traumas, and learning to recognize why it's doing it. Why am I starting to panic? And then, like, what do I know? And that's helped tremendously. Another thing that I think helped through this phase, and something that's come up often, because now that I'm finally getting back into a flow of life, and like I said, it literally November through January felt like complete chaos. But even through all this chaos, something that was able to stay consistent and something that worked well for me is now you're seeing me get back into my rhythm and flow of posting on Instagram. And one of those things has been, now that I kind of have a little bit of a space set up. Again, we're trying to figure out where we're gonna put a workout area. I'm thinking garage. So if you guys have any hot tips for like building out your gym space in your garage, would love it. I have a garage. How fancy am I? But now that I'm getting back into my, if I do influencer hands one more times, you can slip my wrist for me. Now that I'm getting back into the rhythm of posting my workouts, because that is something that I just enjoy sharing. I think it's important for me. When I was in a phase of needing to figure out what worked for me and my body, it was helpful to see other women doing it and why they were doing it, if it fit my body, my goals, and my lifestyle. And one of those things has been obviously sharing my fitness. And as I've been doing that, I've been getting a lot of questions in regards to my fitness and how I'm staying strong in the field. And this is something that I have been reflecting on a lot, because for the first time, I think it's for the first time since I've started it and started my health and fitness journey, if you will, it's the first time that I've been able to look back and kind of maybe like pause and reflect and see everything that I've done has now paid off. And the time that I put into it, you guys have heard me over and over again for years. If you've listened to the podcast or followed me on social media, one of the things I used to repeat to myself, especially when I started, is the time's going to pass anyways. That is what I was saying over here in 2018, 2020, when I really started honing in. And now we're 2026, and I'm able to look back and be like, fuck, the time did pass anyways. And when people are like, what are you doing? It's like, I'm doing the same things I have been doing, but it just goes to show what time and consistency can do for the body. And I understand if you're at a starting place in your journey, that can feel really daunting and maybe a little deflating, but it also just goes to show, like, I've had successes in different time frames of that, and now I'm just to a place where it has become so much of a lifestyle that even through, and I wanted to hit on this because I feel like I talk about health and fitness a lot on the podcast, but that is because it's such a huge part of not only my day-to-day life, because it is honestly, it's no different to me than like eating, brushing my teeth, doing that kind of a thing on the daily. But because it has become that through the wild ride we just got off of from moving, I was able to, normally life would throw a wrench in my plans, and that's exactly what would happen. Is like, the last thing I can take care of is myself, my eating, my body. Like, it's just going to go completely out the window because I don't have the brain space for that. But it never once was which is so cool to me. It never once was like out the window, I guess. Um, and it never once was like it never went derailed, if you will, and it never also was something that I like stopped and analyzed either, if that makes sense. So I guess all that to say, if I guess I don't know if that's just encouraging for someone. Like what I've been talking about for the few years really has worked for me. Um, and I'm grateful that I did that because there were so many other moving pieces to my life that come I don't want to have to add in like the rocking of my mental health and my physical health and also like be trying to be chasing after that in the middle of like renovating a house and doing my business and all that. So I guess my message to you is to find what works for you and just stay consistent with it. And then if you do need to, like, after some time and consistency, like, listen to your body. What days are you feeling good? What are you doing those days? When are you not feeling well? And also, it's crazy to me how even just the workouts I did really prepared me for lifting. Like, I work out so I can go on the mountain and go fast, go hard, be able to help whoever gets an animal, whether it's, a huge elk um, or even just running amok with my kids, trying to find horns or rabbit hunting, whatever it may be. Like, that's why I want to go, is so that when we park somewhere, I don't look at that hill and be like, oh, I'm good. I'm just going to stay here because it just sounds too exhausting. That's why I did it. But then it turns out it's fitness and health. So then I can, help load washer and dryers up the stairs out of the old house, down the stairs to the new house, hold Cedric, Cody's beloved buffalo mount. He's so sexy. He's part of this marriage. Hold him with my life and fill my marriage literally in my hands as we take him down the stairs. And I'm still married. Yay. Like, to be able to help lift the safes, move boxes, be able to put long days into renovating the house, chasing kids, doing all this stuff, showing up for myself, for my marriage, for everything. I'm not saying I did it all perfect, but to be able to do all that, I am very, very grateful. And it's also something I think to keep in mind too, in the middle of your chaos. Like, sometimes cleaning your house burns a shit ton of calories. You're painting, like, my sister's like, "What's your workout arm plan?" Honestly, right now, it's this plan of like moving and painting a whole bunch. And let me tell you, that's real good for the arms. All that to say is years of me talking about what it is that I'm doing, I can honestly say that it works. I've been able to stick to it and I'm very, very grateful. And I'm excited to see what I can do now that I'm able to like keep going and let the time pass anyways. And if you're wondering, I guess, what it is I'm doing, because I realize not everyone has listened to every episode, I'll kind of hit on what it is that I do for me, my body, to give you a quick overview, because I think it is important for you to find what works for you. And the way I eat necessarily isn't going to work for you because I have endometriosis. So I really try to avoid inflammatory foods, which include things like refined sugars, dairy, and gluten. I have noticed for me, those really cause flares and a lot of different issues for me. I also have a food allergy to potatoes. Yes, you're saying, how? Don't you miss French fries? I would die. I would die if I ate them, so I'm good. But when I get to heaven, I'm pretty sure I will be having a buffet of Sonic tater tots, fries from our local burger shop with white sauce, obviously. I will be having my mom's cheesy potato casserole, all the things. Um, so anyways, so what do I eat? With all that said, I feel like I need to preface all that so that you have an idea. But a lot of people feel better eating this way too, especially with the way that our food is designed in America. That's a whole other episode. I eat mainly animal based because of all that. And I also have found over the last year, that is where I truly feel like I have the most energy. I see results in my body. I feel healthy. All my numbers look incredible. I feel satiated. So I am getting most of my protein. I'm always trying to focus on protein first for me. And I think that's why this was easy way of eating because one, it's what I'm craving. And two, it was really simple to always make sure I either had some form of meat or my eggs. Also really love eggs, butter, and then I love fruit. Fruit, ever since I was a little girl, fruit's just always called to me. And so fruit is like one of my favorite snacks. I also am having like Fairlife milk with my coffee. Love my coffee. And that's it. A game changer in piece of gear for both myself and my family has been utilizing digiscoping. If you're not familiar, real quick, digiscoping is when you use your phone to capture photos or videos through your spotting scope or binoculars. And if you're wanting the best and most simple system to digiscope with, All In is hands down it. If you're out in the field and want to capture the moment through your optics without fumbling around or missing the shot, All In has you covered. What I love most is how seamless and user friendly the system is. Like, seriously, so easy to use. My oldest son, Cooper, and Rivers has used it before, but Coop was using it to film my bear hunt. It's that easy. He was able to capture the shot, follow the bear, and that way we were able to go back, look at the shot placement, and then where the bear went. And then, of course, when Cody got to us, we were able to relive those memories with him all over again. And now I can look back at that footage and watch it forever. It's been especially awesome for hunting with kids. You can show them exactly what you're seeing and then relive it later with clear and steady footage. It's a whole new level of connection and storytelling in the outdoors. And they just dropped their brand new Nexus system, which gives you a quick connect, universal fit across multiple optic setups, and you can connect it to your gun. It's built to be even faster, lighter, and more adaptable, perfect for when every second counts in the field. So whether you're chasing big game, scouting with the kids, or just want to document your hunts with ease, All In is a no-brainer. Head to allin.co and use our code RECKONING for 10% off your order. That's Allin, OLLIN.co, and use our code RECKONING for 10% off. You know what shit pisses me off? Having a no soliciting sign and people still soliciting. I just find it so fucking rude. Anyways, where was I? Oh, eating. Oh, and if I decide I like want to eat something a day, then I eat it. And I'm not feeling bad about it, which is nice. And I don't have food noise anymore, which is amazing. Like I'm not sitting and thinking about food all the time. And what else? My cravings aren't really there unless I'm in my luteal phase because I'm just a girl. And if I want an Oreo, I'll eat an Oreo. But the other thing that I'm noticing is I'm eating till I'm like satiated, not like full, and not overeating. And I think that's made a big difference too. And then I'm just honestly moving my body every day. I love doing, for me personally, I really love doing walks, like a ruck walk with my hunting pack, my Mystery Ranch backpack. I'll put weights in there, or which I'm really excited about where we moved. I'm just so excited. The best place to go now. Because that was one thing I was like, I'm gonna miss my place where I walk. But daddy got me a better place. He helped. Or walk and works, which I haven't got to do. And I've also noticed that really helps my ADHD when I am working, is like walking at the same time. So I need to set up my treadmill again. And then you've seen my workouts. So I really recommend YouTube, especially if you're someone that's on a budget or you're a mom or you're just needing like, I can do 20 minutes. I can do 30 minutes. There's fantastic workouts online. They're 20, 30 minutes long. Cody has done some Caroline Gervan workouts with me. And he also was like, damn. I'm like, I know, huh? The bitch can kick your ass. I love her. So Caroline Gervan, really love her. She has all kinds of different, she has actual like programs that you can start for like 30 days, I believe. Or you can go in and you can find one that's like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. You can find them based on whatever body part you want to work out. And then I also love Pilates by Izzy is one of my faves because she incorporates both weights and Pilates. And I have found being a mom, I really wanted to work on my core, engaging my core, which is bananas. Now, like I can think about like zipping it up and It's so crazy. So working on my core strength has been really awesome. I also think it's very important for bow hunters to have that mind-body connection. It's also important for weight training to be able to connect to the body part in which you are training. So I think Pilates has been really fantastic for that and also helping me with my mobility and my strength. My mobility, my strength, my flexibility. That's what I was going for. I really love Pilates by Izzy because it incorporates both weights and Pilates and has been really great for my core and kind of giving me a stretch at the same time on top of throwing heavy shit around. And then if you're looking for something specific for hunters, I recommend this is what Cody was doing. We talked about this in our episode, I think when him and I 20 years of hunting together, I think is what it's titled. And he was talking about doing mountain physio. That is a program that we have both done together. And we are so impressed with the app. He said for him, it's been the easiest app for him to plug in, go through the motions. It's been like having a coach with him at the time of training, which has been great. It was great because it was beginner friendly as well as he was learning his way around a gym again and kind of the CrossFit functional fitness type of workouts and the um the ease of being able to log on and do it. While also it's designed specifically for hunters by hunters, and he is a physical therapist, I believe, which I want to get Preston on. We've talked to him about doing an in-person episode with him, myself, and Cody. And so mountain physio is a great option. And I would start now is the perfect time to start training for the hunting season. It is currently February, almost March. So it is the perfect time. And that one, I do love that they incorporate the rucks and running and that kind of a thing. I think that is the biggest thing when it comes to finding a program that works for you with your physical fitness and your health and wellness is don't overcomplicate it. Do something you can show up, every day or 5 to 6 days a week for. Find a plan that's easy, that's maintainable, and not going to feel like you're totally deprived on. And like I said, 20 to 30 minutes can make a really big impact too. And for me personally, getting my 10,000 steps plus a day really, really does something for my body and my metabolism. Speaking of metabolism and a chaotic life, this is one of our go-to meals that I wanted to share with you guys because you have seen it when we were camping during the deer hunt. And then also, I think I shared it as a 30-minute quick weeknight meal. And this is high in protein. You can do it low carb if you want, whatever your nutrition allows. And I hit on this, I think I've hit on this on some prior episodes of just like what we loved this camping or this last fall is wild game Philly cheesesteak sandwiches or Philly cheesesteak bowls. So I wanted to give you guys this recipe because this is something that I think is underestimated when it comes to camping because we're all getting ready to go camping. I'm so excited. Getting ready to go camping. And then also this is a quick weeknight dinner that I ended up making last week. And so I wanted to share it because people, I think, forget about this as an option. We make them into actual Philly cheesesteak sandwiches for the boys. And then Cody did his on a low carb bun. So that's an option. And then for me, I end up just making them into a bowl, which is super delicious too. So I wanted to give you this 30-minute weeknight dinner, and it is Philly cheesesteak sandwiches and or bowls. This can be made in your skillet or on your Blackstone. If you have the means to do it on your Blackstone, 10 out of 10 recommend doing on the Blackstone, and this is where it comes in handy for camp as well. It's so fun to make on the Blackstone. It's delicious. It's quick. You can toast up your buns on the Blackstone as well as cook everything. We love a recipe that requires less dishes, and you can prep this ahead of time before you go camping too and just throw it on the grill and go. All you need, it's super duper easy, is you'll need your meat of choice. So I ended up taking one of our roasts. I've done this with deer or elk, and I end up slicing it into thin slices that you want for your Philly cheesesteak. If you've had a Philly cheesesteak, you know what I'm talking about. You can do like a thin slice, a half inch wide. I end up usually cutting these too. so that they can fit easily into bite-sized pieces onto your sandwich. Do this however you would like. We did it with elk, white-tailed deer, and mule deer, and then obviously beef. You can also buy, if you're in a hurry, I ended up buying the stir fry strips that were beef from the store. And for my family, there's 4 of us. My boys are growing boys and athletes, so they eat, you could basically say, like, feeding 4 adults, and I ended up doing 2 pounds of meat. Then you're gonna want your fixings to go inside. We use onions, green peppers, red peppers, and mushrooms in ours. I also like to throw in a little bit of garlic. So you'll want to slice those up. I like doing them in slices so that everything's kind of in the same shape, if you will. Uniformity. And then butter or oil, seasoning on this, sky's the limit, but all you really need is salt, pepper. You can also add in a couple dashes of Worcestershire sauce. It just really elevates the flavor of it and gives it that true, like, Philly cheesesteak sandwich taste. And then obviously you'll need your cheese of choice if cheese is something you're putting on it. We use provolone or Swiss. And then I've used goat cheese in mine too before, and it is just really delicious and creamy when you want to make a bowl and kind of toss that up in there. There's a place in Utah that's called DP Cheesesteaks, and they also will add on like the canned cheese. I know this is a thing some places. So if that's, listen, the sky's the limit. Do what you want. And then you've got your hoagies or your lettuce cups or just your bowl, right? What you'll do is, like I said, you'll make sure your meat is sliced, and your onions, your peppers, and your mushrooms are sliced and ready to go. You'll butter your cast iron skillet or your Blackstone, and you will cook your meat. Then you will throw in your veggies into that mixture. Obviously, you're going to season your meat accordingly. Throw your veggies into that, give it a good tossing. From here, you have a couple different options on how you want to finish this. When I've prepped this ahead of time, I've either one, made it to that point, put it in a Ziploc bag and froze it so that it's ready to go. This is what I did for Cody when he was going on, let's say like a 7-day hunting trip. So that way he could get it out, warm everything up, add the cheese to it, put it on buns, call it a day. That's great. Perfect for hunting camp. Or if you're going camping, get all your ingredients sliced and diced and ready and then cook. We have had in the past where we've done it 2 different ways once the meat is cooked and ready to go. I will then lay the cheese over the meat/mushrooms mixture slash veggies, whatever. I'll lay it on there, let it get ooey gooey, and then I'll toast the buns at the same time that that's happening, and then serve it on the buns. Or another way to do it is you can then take your buns, toast them a little bit, put your meat mixture on there, and then put your cheese over the top of that before it's melted, and then pop it back in, broil it, and then eat it like that. So finishing it how you want is totally up to you. Again, camping, if you're using the Blackstone, I think the easiest route to go is cook up your meat, put your cheese on, let that start to melt while you toast your buns, and then serve it up. We love a less dishes kind of a thing.
You know how it goes. Your adventure is only as strong as your recovery and then your energy to start it. That's why I've been loving Mountain Ops' naturally sweetened line. If you haven't heard yet, I know so many people, including myself, have wanted there to be a naturally sweetened line when it comes to the favorites, Hydrate and Ignite. They are naturally sweetened with Reb M and monk fruit. They're just as effective with hydration and energy to fuel the day. Whether I'm working out, working, hunting, chasing the kids, or just trying to stay on top of everything, I always have a packet in my bag of either the Hydrate or Ignite and or both. Sometimes they stack really well, meaning you can mix them. Even my kids ask for the Hydrate sticks when we're on the go, especially when we've been out hunting or camping and obviously after their sports sessions. And let's talk about their new product drop. I have been waiting months for this. I may or may not have gotten some inside scoop, and I'm excited. It's their clear protein. This is their new Magnum Clear Whey. It is so refreshing. So, what you do is you mix it with water, and it makes more of a protein water, if you will. It's light, fruity, not chalky or milky at all, and it's low lactose. Perfect for after a hot hunt or hard gym session. I'm kind of excited to try making like a protein jello with this. I think could be really fun for meal prep, or just making like a refreshing smoothie or refreshing drink at the end of the day. What does it look like? It honestly looks like after you mix up ignite or hydrate. So it's a scoop of this clear whey protein with water. And like I said, you mix it, you froth it, wait a couple minutes because it does get a good froth. And then I mix it one more time and it looks similar to like a hydrate or an ignite. You get 23 grams of protein that doesn't feel like a shake. Seriously, it's a game changer for these hot months and just a new way to shake up your protein shakes. We also keep on hand always our immune gummies, slumber, and performance bars on rotation for the whole family. We love their hoodies and gear just as much as their supplements too. Mountain Ops is built for real people who live hard, love the outdoors, and want to feel their best while doing it. Head to mountainops.com and use our code BRIT for 20% off your order. Plus, every purchase helps donate a meal to a child in need. That's mountainops.com and use our code BRIT, BRITT, to stock up and give back. Your feet do more miles than your boss's Cybertruck.
I mean, shit.
You go off road, uphill, and in and out in the dark. Treat them like it. That's why I trust Sheep Feet. And now they've leveled up again with performance socks that actually hold up in the field. Breathable, supportive, and built to pair with custom orthotics. Sheep Feet are known for these. They are 100% customized to your feet. Every pair is different. Their process creates a precise mold of your foot, which means your orthotics aren't just supportive, they're made to work as hard as you do in the field. They are handcrafted in the USA. Every pair gets the care and attention your feet deserve. But Sheep Feet doesn't stop at orthotics. They've been expanding their gear game and now they've dropped brand new performance socks and I'm already obsessed. They're like buttery, airy, and smooth. You could like I can't explain it. Put them on your feet and let me know. These socks, like I said, are breathable, supportive, and built for the long days on your feet, whether you're hiking or running around day to day. I love that they're dialed in for hunters, but still just as functional for training or chasing kids around. They also make my favorite hoodie of all time, the Hideout hoodie. Guys, I'm telling you, if your girl's going to be hunting with you or hiking, get her this damn hoodie. You'll thank me and she'll thank me. The more comfortable she is, the longer she wants to stay out there. And you need one too, because Cody loves it just as much. You've seen me wearing this constantly. I have it in black and green. It's built from grid fleece, so it keeps you warm when you're glassing and breeze when you're on the move. The Sherpa lined hideout pocket is wind and waterproof, and in making it a built-in hand warmer. It's got zipper pockets, thumb holes, and a high neck zip. All the things that a girl could want. I wear it for hunting, at the gym, and honestly, when I just need to hide from life. And if you haven't checked them out yet, don't sleep on the Stealth Bombers. They're ultra lightweight, silent stocking shoe built for performance and precision. These are an archery hunter's dream. The people behind this company are incredible and they've thought of everything. Don't settle for anything less than custom. Head to sheepfeetoutdoors.com and use code RECKONING for 10% off. And yes, Sheep Feet are HSA and FSA eligible. Tell them we sent you and use code RECKONING for 10% off.
Okay. Well, we took a commercial break. Guess why? I keep getting interrupted. It's fine. It's my first one back. Anyways, that recipe was great for meal prep. It's high protein, it's kid friendly. My kids love it, and it's quick and easy. Like I said, that was a really good recipe to make. So hopefully that helps. If you need the full recipe breakdown, I will put that in the show notes listed below. You can find that on your podcast app, on YouTube, or you can go to thereckoningpodcast.com, or even just your Google, whatever, put in thereckoningpodcast.com Philly cheesesteak and it'll bring it up. Super easy to find. I wanted to get into one of our last segments. I feel like I've been rambling forever. Hopefully I cut this down enough with all the interruptions, but listener Q&As, I've been getting a lot of the same questions, like I mentioned, either at the expo or as I've started to get back on social media after the move. And these are, what do I have? I think I have 5 questions that came through that were pretty similar to each other. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to answer these. I guess some of these make me a little nervous to answer, but here we go. Question 1, how do you balance kids, hunting, and work? I don't necessarily know that I balance them. I just make them all one. I thought, "You know what we like to do? We like to hunt. How do I make this work?" Um, so then we get paid to hunt and hang out. So that's my answer. But I will also say with that, it adds another layer of trickiness. So I guess this is how I balance all that together is there's a time and place where I know I need to get X, Y, Z, and we're all aware of that. And sometimes it's going out with we need to get X, Y, and Z done before then it's like that's done and over. Now we're just hunting as a family. Or there's days where I'm not touching my phone, I'm not touching my camera. We are literally out there because we are doing what we love. So I do need to like set that out there. But so I guess that's how I balance hunting and work and kids is like kind of knowing designated. Like for instance, this weekend we're gonna go do a couple things and it is cool. My kids are getting old enough to where they love helping. They both love photography and videography, and they think it's cool to be able to capture stuff or help, or they might have an idea. And so we do know, like, I kind of have a shot list of things that I need to get. And then after that, like, it is free reign. And it is cool because it gives us a good excuse to get out. But when it comes to balancing, then like hunting and working kids, and work hard, you play hard kind of a thing is the way that we work and we look at it. So that's how we balance that, and when it comes to hunting and kids, we've talked about this before, but I really learned early on that I didn't want them to be my excuse as to why I couldn't. I wanted them to be a lot of the reason why, or with that, not having them be the excuse and bringing them along. I really wanted to try and adapt what we did with them and to be able to teach them, and it was going into hunting knowing that this time I'm bringing the kids. How do I teach them? How do I show them? How do we incorporate them while still being able to go out and hunt? And then just also having kind of just setting a standard for that hunt with the kids as to what to expect and what outcomes could be so that that way there wasn't any type of like disappointment in the fact of like someone was loud or that. And then also with that is it is important to get time to yourself or with your spouse or with your hunting buddies, whatever that may be, and knowing that that really is part of like mental health and it's an important aspect of who you are at your core. And so it is okay. It's not selfish to go out and do hunting trips by yourself or with friends or with your spouse and make it a date night. I think there really is just kind of, like I said, setting that standard with your family and what that looks like. And then being willing to adapt and move through the different phases of life. How do you stay motivated when you're tired? Lots of coffee, lots of Ignite. How do I stay motivated when I'm tired? I have people that love and depend on me and that believe in me, so sometimes I think of that. I also Nicole would say it's the Taurus in me, but sometimes when I'm sick or I'm tired, that's almost when I work harder for whatever reason. And then I also have learned, again, speaking of my nervous system, that's something that I've really been trying to work on this last year. And it's made a huge difference with the way my anxiety shows up, how I handle my anxiety, my mental health, and the way that I show up. There is a certain point where, like, if you're tired, sometimes it's okay to like put yourself to bed. Sometimes you're like a toddler and you need to eat, go to bed and start again tomorrow, and that's literally all that you needed, and you can come back out of the chute like 10 times better and faster and more creative. So, again, it is listening to your body, and then also sometimes I love the, like, you gotta push through and do hard shit, and when you show up for yourself and your family and the promises that you've made, that really is the best motivation that you can find. And I'm not perfect at this either. There's a lot of days where I have to show up. And today was one of those days where I've wanted to record an episode and it needs to go out. And I love doing this, but I was just feeling like fanatic, like my motivation was slipping, setting shit up. Um, and just thinking of like, I don't feel like I have the best episode outline, la di da di da. But it really sometimes is just showing up and doing it and going through the motions. That's what I told myself today. I'm just gonna go through the motions and I'm gonna sit down and show up. What's the one thing you wish you knew starting out? I'm not sure if this question was for hunting or, like, business podcast related. I guess I could kinda answer for both of it. For hunting, what's one thing I wish I knew starting out? I think that one's kinda tricky because I grew up hunting, but then, like, as you get into your adulthood and I really started to start out hunting more on my own, I guess, this is where it could be designated for this question, that it's okay to ask questions and not know everything because I grew up hunting and going a lot with Cody and doing things. One, I think I've talked about this before, I surprised myself with what I did know, and two, like, it's okay to always be learning and doing things, and that's honestly why the podcast started is because even the best hunters that I've spoken to, professional hunters, they're always learning from each other, and so it's totally okay to ask questions and not know the answer to everything. That would be what I would say starting off with hunting is, like, even if you're an adult and you feel like you should know it, it's totally fine to reach out, learn, um, and grow and change the way that you do things or the gear that you run too. And then if this is a business question, what's one thing you wish you knew starting out? It's not gonna go the way that you expected or you planned, and it's okay, and when people tell you it takes time, guess what? The lesson in this whole freaking episode is it does take time, um, and just to start, and I think, again, that's another part of today's episode is just keep going. You just literally have to go through the motions and it you'll figure it out. It doesn't take the best of the best, like, truly, you hear it all the time, and there's a reason why, because you just have to show up, start rough, start raw, sorry, and then you'll figure out your upgrade as you go, your audience will expand, your ideas, the way that you do things will change, and it's really like learning together. Last question, how do you make time for yourself? I giggle because Rivers has found my YouTube channel, and he was like, he started saying to me, he's like, "Have you had your first cup of coffee yet?" And I'd be like, "Well, I'm, like, drinking it." And I guess in one of my videos, I said something about, I like getting up early and I made some comment about, like, "Let me have 1 cup of coffee first before someone talks to me." And my kid heard this, which, like, cool. He heard the lesson. Um, but it just cracks me up. Thanks for being my supporter, babes. I found my mornings or my peaceful moment, again, is taking inventory of your life and your personality and your body and what works well for you and your lifestyle. So mornings, I really try and get up early before the day starts, and that is where I find my me time is for me time is just getting a few minutes to myself to just, like, start the day, and everybody's me time might look differently, but that's been a good consistent being able to get me time before I'm jumped into chaos, starting my morning before everyone. That's drinking my cup of coffee, you know, having a vibe kind of a thing, and then also it may be, like, taking a bath and reading a book, and I've also just tried to be vocal with my family because I would want them to be able to say the same thing, being like, "I just need," and my kids will tell you, they'll be like they'll literally use that verbiage, "I just need a little me time." I'm like, "Dude, I get it." And so I think it's been good that we've communicated that is just if someone needs, "I just need some time alone in my room," or, "I just need to sit in the corner," or, "I just need to decompress." And so I think it's been vocalizing that, and that's worked well for us as a family. And then also, if I want, for instance, if like Cody and I want a little me time when we're out hunting together, and especially when the kids were younger, we'll kind of be like, hey, if we're shed hunting, for instance, like, can you take the kids this time and like walk with them? Or we'll split with the kids, and then vice versa. Like the other one will get to go on a solo trip kind of thing. Or when we're out camping, it's being like, "Hey, are you good if I take a nap?" Or little things like that. So it really is just communicating it and finding little spaces in your day of where you can find that. I think a lot of people don't say they have enough time to make me time, but I bet you do. You're probably getting on social media for 10, 15 minutes at a time. That could be some me time, that you could go for a walk or go sit in the bath or read a book possibly. So I would just reevaluate where you're spending your time. And then also, I think there's nothing wrong with communicating. Hey, you can tell I've been a little short lately. Like, it would really help if I was able to get a little me time and figuring out what me time looks like and what works for you and your family. I received a submission this week at thereckoningpodcast.com/submit that honestly really stopped me in my tracks. And I wanted to share this submission because I feel like this was kind of a great story and experience to go along with this episode. And I've actually reached out to him because of this. So I want to share this with you. I feel like it's a great way to, like I said, end this episode and hearing from you guys. He wrote, my story isn't just about losing a leg, it's about finding purpose through the pain. One moment I was out doing what I loved, hunting, living life full speed, and in an instant, everything changed. That accident could have ended me, physically, mentally, spiritually. But instead, it woke me up. It taught me that God doesn't waste pain, He uses it. I went from lying in the hospital bed wondering why me to standing here today knowing exactly why. Because someone out there needs to see that even when life takes something from you, God can give you something greater in return. I'm living proof that your comeback can be stronger than your setback, that faith can rebuild what pain tried to destroy. This was submitted by Hunter Rasmussen, and his Instagram, if you want to follow him, is one_legged_hunter, and one is the actual number one. And I just thought that was a really strong message from Hunter that he was willing to share with us. And it was a beautiful message because this episode definitely was about a lot of different things that are thrown in your way and how to kind of overcome them, if you will. A lot of them were vanity things, and Hunter really spoke on the reality of truly having your life changed and setbacks. I really loved how he said that he is living proof that your comeback can be stronger than your setback. I reached out and I that was what I needed to hear, and I would love for our audience to be able to hear your full story and w the lessons that you learned and as to why. So I really look forward to having Hunter come on the podcast. I just want to thank you guys. I know this episode's maybe been a little, not maybe, it has been a little more chaotic than normal. It's my first one back in a minute as far as solo, and I kind of wanted to make sure that I was incorporating everything, giving everything a test run. So thank you for your patience on this. I hope though that you were able to take something away. I didn't want to just sit down and shoot the shit without giving maybe some tangible takeaways. You guys heard questions asked, stories, kind of some dear reckoning moments. If you want to submit yours, I hope so. Like I said, I heard so many incredible stories at the expo that were life altering, that were just funny and hilarious, or cool lessons learned. And I know we learned so much outdoors and through health and wellness. I would love for you guys to be willing to share that with us. I know there's been some fun hunts that people are going to record and send that in. So if you want to send that in and you're like, I don't know where to do this, it seems a little overwhelming, all you have to do is, if you love to write, fantastic. I'm not the best writer. That's why I'm sitting here in front of a microphone, because I could ramble all day. But if you like to write it up. You can email us. You can do reckoningmediaco@gmail.com. That's going to be where the submissions get sent. Or you can go to thereckoningpodcast.com/submit. And that gives you a full form to fill out and some prompts, some information. It kind of walks you through that. Or feel free to DM me on Instagram if you're like, bitch, I'm driving. Can you please send me this information? Find me on Instagram at Brittany.long or at The Reckoning Podcast and ask, and I'll get that sent over to you personally. If you were like, "Ugh, it just feels so daunting to write it up," that would be me. Feel free to just prop your phone up, and you can either use the memo thing on your phone where you're able to record a voice memo in your phone, and you can upload that then to like a Google Drive, a Dropbox, whatever, and you can send that to me through email. Or you can do the same thing if it's just easier to prop up your phone, record a video of you telling the story, record it, send it to me, and you can tell me whether you're okay with me using it, plopping it in as a video or if you just want audio only and I can extract the audio. So I think if you guys wanna record them like that would be really, really cool to have that, or if you're like, "This story is gonna take an hour and a half, you better just come over to my house and or send me a link to record an episode," even better. Let's record a whole freaking episode. If this episode was something that you loved or you had some takeaways from, please be sure to share it on social media. It really just helps get word out, grow the audience, grow the community, grow the show. And listen, I got a house to pay for now, guys. Come on, help a girl out. The next episode, I do think we're going to do River's whitetail deer episode. We've been dying to record this, but like I said, it has been nothing but chaos over here. And I didn't know where or how and stuff was moved and boxed and where we were going to set this up. And I really wanted to do it justice and give him the space to do it. So I think it's going to be a really fun episode to record. And he has been very adamant that he wanted to record in the new house, new setup. So we shall see. I think it'll be really fun to reflect on all that. And I have so much vlog footage from that that I've been wanting to share, but not until he truly got to share his story on the podcast. He has been chomping at the bit for that. We actually just, he got to paint his room, which was so exciting. We rented, guys, for the longest time. And so to be able to paint our home was so fun. He got to do it forest green, which I'm obsessed with. It looks so good. I'm so jealous. And then he hung his we brought the horns home with us so that everyone could see them. We dropped the cape off to the taxidermist. And so we brought his horns home. He hung it above his bed and it looked so good. And then we did a little parking lot deal exchange with our taxidermist and he gave the horns over to the taxidermist. He was so bummed to see him leave, but he's so excited for him to come back. You guys know the like reel where you're like taking your new taxidermy with you everywhere. That will definitely be my kid. And we got Cooper's bareback, which looks super sick in the hallway going downstairs. So I don't know if you guys want to hear the like house thing. I'm happy to share our story. It might be nice to hear, a little encouraging. And I've been trying to figure out how to like decorate with taxidermy because I want to showcase our taxidermy, but also like not look like a log cabin. And nowhere on Instagram like does that. You know what I mean? I'm like, is this a niche? I don't know. So, if anyone has any decorating tips with taxidermy, I want to like gothy. Okay, I'm gonna end this. All right, bye guys.